nations, and the new funding target meets the needs of developing countries, a large part of it being allocated to measures to adapt to the effects of climate change, which is a priority for such countries. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, Dr. Khaled Fahmy, the former Minister of Environment. Dr. Khaled, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your time. And let me start by asking you, Doctor, about the COP29 UN Climate Conference being held in Azerbaijan's capital, Baku. How important do you see, such conferences, especially dealing with issues related to climate change and global warming, which the whole world has now been affected by?
Well, the most important goal for COP29 is trying to agree on a new financial global target, which is very hard for the prevailing politics and economic policy that is prevailing in all the world. We don't expect that there will be an agreement, a satisfactory agreement for this that satisfies developing countries' needs, which are in place. We might reach an agreement on billion, but the problem will be who's going to pay and who's going to receive this and under which circumstances. We that's the main issue that is discussed there. Whereby there are a lot of issues, and some of them has been achieved, like agreeing on standards for carbon market, global carbon market, which is a good step on the right way, but still needs to be to go into implementation and to find the finance for it, because who's going to pay for carbon market for the developing countries? Mm-hmm. That's still an open question. The other goal is, of course, on adaptation, which is the forgotten always, where we have to focus on a global market, a global adaptation goal, and how to find these main issues. Of course, we can see that, as I mentioned before, that the geopolitics and the economic crisis and the trend for fragmentation instead of globalization is impacting to the climate and how we address the climate, but not only the climate, but also the sustainability issue and the reduction of poverty. So we can still see that the impact of the election of Mr. Trump is gathering the climate stop. We expect that he will, through executive order, he will withdraw from the Paris Agreement, which we had before, which we witnessed before in his term.
Right.
And that will impact the international role of the U.S. But it will stop the movement and reform in the U.S.
Indeed. Now, Dr. Khaled, of course, as you know, a main topic under discussion during the COP29 is the issue of financing, specifically developed nations, in order to allow them to catch up with technological demands and needs for issues related to global warming and climate change, etc. How important do you see this issue of financing and the moves and pushes towards increasing such financial pledges for the developing countries and looking at them as not some sort of charity? On the contrary, they are rightfully earned.
Well, that's charity. Right? And that's charity when it comes to economy. But the problem, this problem we were with, this problem, it was always the problem, and impediment for climate action was always the problem. And the need for developed countries to stick to its promises, its obligations, and its responsibility for the problem. But at not working. So we can, there are new voices that are which calls for not only the developed countries and industrialized countries to bear the finance burden, but also to extend it to wealthy nations and emerging countries. By that we mean China, we mean both petrol countries, but for others, wealthy to pay only limited, but also to people. So I think there is now a new trend, which is global tax and global taxes on the windfall, which I think is going to be agreed, and as a compromise, there will be some money from the wealthy nations, and I think some money from the developed world, but it's not going to be enough. I don't expect that we will be able to agree on more than $1 trillion a year, which is really this time what we are, what was received on base. So, but this itself is a very difficult assignment. It's not so optimistic when it comes to finance. I'm not optimistic when it comes to COP20.
Indeed, Dr. Khaled, now dozens of world leaders have arrived already in Azerbaijan for the COP29, but in the same light, many big names are not attending the UN climate talks, including, the 4 top emitters of global warming gases, including China and the United States, which are not in attendance. What kind of message, does this signal, in your opinion?
It signals that it just reflects the economic effect that the world is in. The trade war between U.S., EU, and China, which is impacting the climate, and to that, they are expecting to work now with Trump coming to power again, with the left wing, with fractions into parliament, and there are opposition in the pipeline. So I think it's signal that they don't want to come because they have reason to give, not sounds. A lot of words and promises all over the past 20 years. I think the thing is that G20 will be happening in Brazil next week. Everybody is attending the G20, and whatever G20 will be the outcome of G20.
Right. On that note, I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Khaled Fahmy, the former Minister of Environment. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and your insight, and for joining us on today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and we'll be back for more. Stay tuned.